To bring in Louisiana Senator, Mr. John Kennedy. We haven't seen Senator Kennedy in a while, sir. Thank you for coming back. Quick comment on, you know Scott Bessent. He's probably come by. You've interviewed him. This guy's an old school, elegant Southerner, sharp as a tack, pro-growth. I think he's a mainstay of the Trump cabinet. What do you think, Senator Kennedy? What's your view of him?
Here's what I think the Treasury Secretary understands well. When moms and dads lie down to sleep at night and can't, the thing that they're most worried about is high prices. That's not to say they're not worried about other things, but it's high prices, and we can't lose sight of that. We can get these high prices down, but we're going to have to do three things, and I think Scott understands it. Number one, we've got to reduce spending. Number two, we've got to deregulate the economy so goods and services cost less. And number three, we've got to redesign the tax code so it looks like somebody designed it on purpose. As you pointed out, since 2010, GDP growth has averaged a little over 2%. That's not enough. It's got to be 3% or better. That will stimulate the economy and grow wages. If we do those three things, as I think the Treasury Secretary understands, people will be able to deal with these high prices, and products and services will go down. But we're not talking enough. We're talking about the things we need to do, Larry, to get high prices down, but we're not tying them together for the American people. And the Treasury Secretary is very good at that. Yes. Most of the publicity has been on the spending cuts. And look, I'm all for them. I think Elon Musk is a rock star. The tofu crowd is mad, but you know, when you trim fat, pigs squeal. That's just the way the world works. That's a law of nature.
Well, so just on the inflation front, getting costs down, and you're 100% right. You know, look, for 2 or 3 years on this show, I talked about Biden's affordability crisis, where prices rising faster than wages. So now, Senator, just work through it with me. On the one hand, we can lower tax burdens on the middle class, so that'll help pocketbooks get a little fatter. But on the other hand, I think two things. You need less government spending. You need much less government spending to hold down prices. And I think the Federal Reserve means much less money printing also. You know, they're part of the problem here. Now, you may disagree, but I just thought I'd throw that out because I think it's a multi-pronged effort.
Well, I would agree with the multi-pronged effort comment. How did we get this inflation and these high prices? Government overspent.
Yep.
How are we going to get out of it? We're going to have to spend less money. The strength of the U.S. dollar matters. The U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency. Actually, that's probably not true. I think the real reserve currency in the world is a Taylor Swift concert ticket, but the U.S. dollar is number two.
Okay.
If we reduce spending, interest rates will fall. Well, we also got to deregulate the economy, and we've got to increase wages, and the only way you can do that is to stimulate the economy, which we're going to do through our reconciliation package.
No, I love that. I love all that. Absolutely right. Taylor Swift notwithstanding. So, Senator Kennedy, our friend Rand Paul, Senator Rand Paul, another very smart chap, he's talking about using turning the Doge savings, and for that matter, any savings, into permanent cuts to the baseline through rescission authority, which, as you know, is really only 51 votes and hasn't been used in many, many years. By the way, can I just say, sir, way back when I was a young man working for Ronald Reagan in his budget office, I was assistant budget director then, I was 12 years old, but we used rescission authority a lot, but it hadn't been used. It's seldom used. Now, I'm hoping that the administration, Russ Vought and Scott Bessent and so forth, and works with you all in the Senate and the House and goes for these rescissions. Take the money out.
It's a no-brainer. We talked about it with Elon Musk yesterday at lunch. We need to We need to pounce on this concept of rescission like a ninja. And what does that mean? That just means you introduce a bill to take the spending cuts found by Mr. Musk and to have Congress take the money back. It just takes a majority vote. We don't have to wait till Mr. Musk is through with his work. We can do it piecemeal. We need to start on it immediately. That's what we talked about at lunch yesterday, and I think you're going to see the first rescission package come to the floor within the next 3 weeks. It makes perfect sense, and I understand. I haven't talked to him directly, but I understand the president's going to be very supportive.
Yeah.
That will end the worry about all the lawsuits. The tofu mob has filed so many lawsuits saying Musk doesn't have the authority, only Congress does. Okay, let Congress do it.
Yeah, good for you. And the other part I've been reading about, you're railing on correctly all this fraud around Social Security, all the fraud about Social Security. And the president mentioned it in his speech to the Congress. He was kidding. He said to Bobby Kennedy, okay, Bobby, maybe people are healthier. They live to be 150. But you and I know they don't live to be 150, even though you and I might want them to live to be 150. The fact is they don't. And that kind of money should be pulled out. It's not ending Social Security. It's ending the fraud in Social Security.
Yeah. We can fix it very easily. I've been working on it, though, since 2018. But I think we're going to move the bill here in the next few weeks. In a nutshell, when you die, your name is sent to the Social Security Administration. They compile what's called a death master file. But Social Security, for years, refused to share the list of dead people with anybody else in government, including the Department of Treasury. So I've got a bill to require them to do that, and to share that list permanently with the Treasury Department and everybody else in the federal government who sends out checks, so we can stop sending checks to dead people. It's not complicated. It triggers my gag reflex to think that it's taken me 7 years to get this done, but I've had a lot of opposition.
Senator, last one. I got a minute left. You're a very smart chap. You and I have worked together. We mostly agree. Let me ask you, how do you, step back for a second, are you happy, satisfied, might be the better word, with the Trumpian economic policy? Because it's different than it was in his first term, particularly with respect to bringing down spending and bringing down federal workforce and things of that nature. How do you read it, Senator Kennedy? You happy with it? Does it need improvement, and where?
I think President Trump, on economics and otherwise, is doing very well. But you remember the old saying, the danger of rising high is that the air gets thin. I'm worried about the tariffs.
Yep.
I'm not saying that tariffs are going to cause inflation. President Trump did them in his first term, and they didn't. I'm saying that we just don't know. We're in very obscure territory. We're in uncharted waters. I think if the tariffs do start to cause inflation, I think the president will back away from them. And I'm not saying that I don't trust President Trump, but you know, there's another saying, you know, trust in God, but tie up your camel. You know, I mean, if this starts causing inflation, we're going to have to recalibrate. Because I'm telling you, I'm not saying the border isn't important, and Ukraine and the Middle East and culture wars and the Academy Awards and the Super Bowl, all those things are important. But the single most important thing, the things that moms and dads worry about when they lie down to sleep at night and can't, and the thing they expect the president to fix is high prices. And we can do it, but we've got to start. We have started, but we've got to go full speed ahead beginning now.
Yes, sir. Senator Kennedy, if you ask me, you're on message. I appreciate you coming back on the